Now, let's talk about coalition and what are those essential factors that tomorrow these 20 parties should keep in mind before they say yes to coming together. Okay, the reason I spoke to you about all the previous coalitions in India and coalition politics in India and what worked and what didn't is because end of the day they say history, you're meant to take lessons from whatever happened in the past. So I guess these politicians and these political parties should be taking lessons from what happened in the past. And what I mean by that is there are, I think, to my mind, 5 basic principles that these parties should follow, 5 points that these parties should ensure that they agree to tomorrow. If these 5 points, to my mind, are agreed tomorrow, then they can look forward for a fruitful and a long-lasting coalition politics or coalition government. So the 5 points I would like to mention is: 1 is a common minimum program. Common minimum program is basically the most important thing that keeps everything binding. You see, one of the things that I understand, and I can tell you this with confidence, is one of the things that Sharad Pawar spent a lot of time in during the time when he was forming this MVA, Maharashtra Vikas Aghadi. A lot of time he spent on was to create that common minimum program, because you had a Shiva Sena, which was a right-wing party, and you had 2 left-wing parties, that is NCP, his own party, and Congress. So what he actually did and what really worked also, because even today, as of today at least, they are all together, is that strong common minimum program which they built together. And because of that strong common minimum program, mind you, Congress has come much more closer to Shiv Sena. Shiv Sena has come much more closer to Congress, and both of them, of course, are quite tied up with NCP at the moment. So this is the power of common minimum program. Everywhere, like in Janata Party, like in Janata Dal, everywhere where parties got destroyed, decimated, is because of a lack of a good and a powerful common minimum program. So the first thing that these parties should come together and formulate and spend maybe another 3 months is to create that common minimum program which everybody signs in their blood. That's the point that is required, because that will ensure that you have a strong united opposition. That's number 1. Number 2 is clear leadership. देखिए, see, politics में you will say that, अरे, why should we show the prime ministerial face? Why should we fight with the prime ministerial face? Okay, all that is your strategy. Chalo, that is your strategy, how you think you should fight your elections. But internally, within these 20 parties and within these 25-30 ladies and gentlemen who are going to meet tomorrow, they should be very clear as to who is going to be their prime ministerial face. Because if they are not clear who is going to be their prime ministerial face, on the eve, if at all they do well, on the eve of forming the government, you will find a lot of parties trying to move out and trying to see better opportunities. So this is going to be possible. So internally at least, externally, I don't know. I am always of the opinion that prime ministerial face, a clear prime ministerial face always works for the party, but then that's my view. But internally at least, these political parties, when they are sitting together, should have a clear understanding and consensus on the prime ministerial candidate that they want to have in the center. So that is number 1. That is number 2. Number 3 is, you see, it is time that we keep ideologies separate from governance. You see, look at again going back to history. Why did Janata Party flop? Because of ideology. Why did Janata Dal flop? Because of ideology. Why did even BJP Plus flop and United Front flop? Because of ideology. See, ideologies of their partners come in middle, and because of that, parties come crashing down. So ideology and governance should be kept very different, because ideology belongs to a political party. Government works on programs. Government works on policies. Government doesn't work on ideology. Government works on policies. And our politicians has to be mindful of this and has to be mature enough to understand that ideology and governance should not be intertwined or intermatched or whatever it is called. Okay, it should not be one. It should be kept separately. So that's another very important point. What we found out, what we learned from our past experience. The fourth point that I want to make is strategic seat allocation. Now, strategic seat allocation, why are you guys coming together? Why are these political parties coming together? These political parties are coming together so that they can win, so that they can compete with Bharatiya Janata Party and win the election. Isn't that the reason why they are coming together? If that is the reason they are coming together, then they should strategically sit and plan in such a way that they help each other win their seats when they are competing with Bharatiya Janata Party or its allies. Now, Amitabh Tiwari, political strategist, has done a fantastic data. He has thrown us some fantastic data, and I have got it from his website, Political Baba. And I'll take you through these data. Now, for instance, Bharatiya Janata Party is competing with Indian National Congress on 190 seats, direct competition between Bharatiya Janata Party and Indian National Congress. Bharatiya Janata Party is competing with regional parties in 185 seats, direct competition of Bharatiya Janata Party and regional parties in 185 seats. 190 seats Congress versus BJP and 185 seats regional party versus BJP. The idea is that in this 190 seats, places where there is a direct competition between Congress and Bharatiya Janata Party, all the regional parties should focus on making Congress win. Other than standing as a third or fourth or fifth candidate, all these parties should be united behind Congress to ensure that out of this 190 seats, Congress wins the maximum number of seats. Number two is Congress. Regional parties, whichever regional party is dominating in that particular constituency, I think every other party, including Congress, should put all their efforts to ensure that that particular regional party wins in that particular constituency. And we have 185 such seats like this. And Congress versus regional parties, there are 71 seats, and regional parties versus regional parties, there are 97 seats. These are where regional parties directly compete with regional parties. The long and short of what I am trying to tell you through this graph is places where a regional stroke national party is doing well, then that particular party should be allowed to fight that, and there should be no other opposition party who is coming and competing against that party where the votes will split. So that's my point number one. My last point is this coalition needs a strong conveyor. Wherever there has been a strong conveyor, and we have seen it not only in India but all over the globe, parties have stood together. A weak conveyor cannot get the parties together. Currently, the two strongest conveyors that one can see, one is Sonia Gandhi and one is Sharad Pawar. Rather, I would say first is Sharad Pawar, second is Sonia Gandhi. Both of them have, are old now. They have got, they are not in the best of their health. So maybe they may not, though they are possibly the best candidate for the job, maybe they may not want to take up this particular responsibility. So now we have people like Nitish Kumar, who is putting up all this together. I think he has done he has really taken a lot of effort. Nitish Kumar, who is putting all this together. People like Mamata Banerjee, who's senior leaders. They're senior leaders, people, and these two are also respected across the country. These are people who can now play the role of a conveyor, which means go above their own party and become a conveyor, become the head of this coalition, and also like a super leader, where every party would somehow listen to them. So that's going to be the fifth most important factor in tomorrow's meeting. And if these 5 things are taken care of, then like I told you before, a united opposition would be more or less a reality. And if it's a reality, then Bharatiya Janata Party would have to really work its strategy out and really ensure that they get themselves geared for a very tough match in 2024. Now, my last point that I wanted to make, which is beyond whatever these 5 points are. The last point is, you see, the question of whether Congress should lead this united opposition or not. You see, it is always better for a party like Congress to lead this united opposition at the cost of being called as a Congress whatever. I am still telling you, which is because I think it is a fact. The reason I think Congress should lead this united opposition is A, because Congress has the infrastructure. Congress is the only genuine, full-fledged national party in this country, which means they have offices, karyakartas, workers right from Kashmir to Kanyakumari. They have pan-India, every nook and corner of India. That's why Congress is important to weave this opposition united together. That's number one. Number two is, let's look at basic math. Okay, this again, these figures I have taken from Amitabh Tiwari's webpage, that is Political Baba. And he says that vote share of Congress in 2019 was 19.4%. And vote share of TMC, BSP, SP, YSRCP, that is YSR Congress Party, DMK, Shiva Sena, that is old Shiva Sena, that is Uddhav Thackeray Shiva Sena, the United Shiva Sena in 2019, Shiva Sena, TDP, all put together was 19%. So clearly, Congress has got a fantastic vote share in this country. Number one. Number two is, like I said, their presence. And thirdly, Rahul Gandhi, whether he could be the Prime Minister, not Prime Minister and all that is not the debate that I am getting into. But Rahul Gandhi is the second most known name after Narendra Modi. Let's face facts. He is the second most popular name after Narendra Modi. So all these put together clearly makes it clear that Congress deserves to lead as Amitabh says, deserve to lead the opposition in 2024. So this is the point that I want to end with. Let's watch out what happens tomorrow. It's going to be important, and let's hope things work out for the united opposition. Namaskar.